Okay, boys, so this might be a long ass video, but it is truly needed because we're gonna be talking about masculinity and my 10 principles of masculinity. So I made a post back in Donna school and the boys liked it, and I just went off the dome of what I thought about the like basically what does it mean? What are some principles that we can follow to become more masculine? And these are the things that came off the dome, right? Came off the dome. So let me just share with you right away. So number one is be the one making the decisions, okay? Be the one making the decisions. Why? Why should you be the one making the decisions? Well, whoever makes a decision holds the power. I got this from the Lion Sin of Pride Escanor, right? The one who makes the decisions holds the power. Meaning that you have to be the one deciding, because when you're the one deciding, you hold the power. You have the power over your own life. Remember, everything that you do in your life, you can decide what to do, right? If you're addicted to like pornography or video games or junk food, right? You're actually deciding to eat those foods. Am I right? Like, sure, there are urges and you can blame the urges, but then you give the urges more power. You cannot give anything else power over you. Do not give your friends power over you. Do not give your parents, society, your emotions, nothing. You are the one making the decisions. Like, God will guide you like in the right direction, but at the end of the day, you are the one making the decisions. So when shit hits the fan, you gotta own it. You gotta take responsibility and just keep moving forward, right? And that's basically how the power remains in your hands. So as a masculine man, you got to be the one saying like, I decided to do this, right? It's like that supreme level of ownership when you're the one deciding, okay? Of everything in your life. Like, don't blame the typhoon, don't blame, that banana on the road, that's why you freaking slipped. Don't blame anything. You blame yourself. And that's extremely powerful. Okay? So that's number one. Number two is align 100% of your life to, guess what I'm gonna say, to your purpose. You guys gotta understand, as a man, your main priority is your God-given purpose. Okay? It's not relationship, it's not money, it's not status, it's nothing else than what God has set for you. Okay? God gave you a purpose and you must align everything to it. From your diet to your career to the clothes you wear, everything. When I say 100%, we mean 100%. Like, you have, from your sleep, everything has to align to it. Because when you align everything to your purpose, it's like that's the most fulfillment. That's you reaching your fullest potential, right? And if you don't know what your purpose is, right? Purpose isn't found; it is built. Meaning that you're going to have to do some work, right? There's no amount of like thinking. There's no amount of brainstorming. There's no amount of like just meditation that will help you progress towards your purpose. Remember, progression requires work. You need to work. P for progression. It needs work. When you need to work towards your purpose. Purpose is built, meaning you got to put in the work, right? And where should I put in the work, Elijah, if I don't know what to work? You got problems in your life. Everybody got problems in your life. Everybody, from the freaking rich kid to the freaking poor kid, from the fat kid to the skinny kid to the very healthy kid. Everybody has problems. Why? Because God gave every single person in the world problems, because problems are the way forward. Problems will guide you to it's basically the guiding signals to your purpose, right? So what I would do is look at your problems and focus on solving them, okay? Do not give into your emotions like, hey, I just don't want to do this. Like, no. This is logically masculine. A masculine man sees the problems and he fixes it. You know, if you distract yourself from your purpose and you don't solve the problems that's reigning terror in your life, you're going to it's still gonna reign terror in your life, right? It's still going to be there, right? The only way problems go away is by you actually working to solving them. You cannot distract yourself. The more you distract yourself, the more the worse it gets. Okay, so if you want to find your purpose, you got to be putting in the work to solving your problems, and problems are the way forward. Okay, so that's basically how I would do it. Okay, align 100% of your life to your purpose. That also means you do not like chase other things. Well, we'll go over that in another principle. Okay, so let's move on to number 3. And if you guys got like any questions about these, just put it down in the comments, and I'll like answer it either in a video or just I'll write my comment. Okay. Enter a state of creation. Okay. So the third principle is to enter a state of creation. You gotta understand that creation in and of itself is a divine action. Why? Because God is the creator, right? He created basically everything. So by doing what God has done, you're basically doing a divine action. You gotta be in a state of creation, basically. Too many of the times we are over consuming information, and like information is not as good as you guys think it is. Like watching this video is probably not as good as you think it is. Men are doers. We gotta be doing shit. You gotta remember, like Adam and Eve ate from the God warns them not to eat from the tree of knowledge, not some tree of evil or tree of whatever. It's a tree of knowledge. Okay, you got to understand how destructive the overconsumption of knowledge is. You got to be in a state of creation instead of consuming. Okay, so this means you got to turn like the abstract, like so many people have ideas, right? Abstract ideas, things that they want to do, but they never do it, right? I've heard it from many people. Like they have such great ideas, but it never comes to fruition because they're not doing the work. As men, you must be doing the work. Okay, you got to turn the abstract into the tangible, right? Turn your idea into execution. You got to turn your dreams into reality, because that is what masculine men do. Like the empires were built, right, because a man has had a vision, and he has created his vision into the real world. So as a man, it's not just knowing things. You have to create it. You have to create the future for yourself. You have to be in a state of creation. There is no other way. Get out of the overconsumption, overthinking, over-consuming. Like you want to put out into the world. Remember, God doesn't take, he gives, right? He puts out into the world. What else does he have to take when he created everything? You got to be in a state of creation. Okay, so that's principle number 3. Principle number 4. Number four. Don't chase, attract. And this sounds very like woo-woo, especially like when I hear from other people, from like those dumbass freaking self-improvement artists. I mean, I'm kind of like a self-improvement artist too. But anyway, what we mean by don't chase, attract. The only thing a man must chase is his purpose, right? That's the only thing. Everything else, like money, women, status, he should not be chasing those. Those are a byproduct of him living towards, aligning his life towards his God-given purpose. Okay? So you should be only chasing your purpose. Everything else, like money, you'll be able to attract it by living according to your purpose. Let me explain. Like, when you do the work and shit like that, you naturally, like I made this example earlier in another video on yesterday's video. When you start chasing like the worldly things like money, looks, status, all of that shit, right? It's basically doing what everybody else is doing, right? Everybody else wants money, looks, status, whatever, and it's everybody has the same desire, but like God is different because He's cool, right? He gives you a very unique purpose for you, and He gives you like some godly desires, and therefore you're gonna have to stand out, right? You're gonna have to do things that other people aren't doing, and so therefore you stick out like a fucking sore ass thumb, right? You're not you stick out like a sore thumb, so other people are like, oh shit, ooh, he's a shiny object. You know what I mean? Let's make it into more specific terms, because I never really liked it when people would make this kind of little example. But like, majority of the people are not hitting the gym. Okay, wait, is this a good example? Okay, at least for this, a majority of people are not like building the physique, hitting the gym, and all of that shit. When you do that, you become more attractive, quote unquote, right? I don't know if that was a good example. Anyway, oh, here's a good example. If you ever felt unnatural cold approaching, it's because you're not, as a man, you're not supposed to be cold approaching. Women are the seducers, right? So there's this little like what is this called? Triangle hierarchy. But yeah, it looks like this. Woman is above children, man is above women, God is above man. So basically, man only chases God, right? And that's basically God gave man his God-given purpose, and therefore, I'm gonna do what God wants me to do, and all of that shit. He should not be chasing other shit, because when he chases other shit, like money, freaking woman, children, okay. You know what I mean? He's not chasing any of those things because he's chasing God, right? You don't want to be doing that, because that's the only thing you should be chasing. Women, however, want love from the man, because like, this is the way I see it. They want love from the man because the man he's chasing God, he's pursuing the Lord, and therefore when the woman chases the man, the man leads into the Lord. The man leads into God. Basically, the woman wants the relationship with the man because the man will lead her to God. And that's the way I see it. So if you do not pursue your God-given purpose, you will attract the wrong things, right? You will not be able to like lead anybody to the right direction, to God, right? I don't know how to explain this correctly, but like, I hope you understand what I'm meaning. What I'm meaning here is like, this should be your only arrow. If you put the arrow anywhere else, you get distracted. Again, align 100% of your life to your purpose. I hope that made sense. If that didn't, I'll go over it again in another video. Number five. Live in the present moment. I swear I had some good points when I wrote this out, but I'm just going off the dome of what I remember and my own present moment skills. You feel me? So, live in the present moment. This is number five principle. You gotta understand how powerful presence is. Like, the present is. God, the present moment is eternal. It is always constantly here and now. There is only, how do I say this? Yeah, the present moment is eternal. And if you know what God is, like, I'm always like referring it back to God, because like, the only way I learned, I gain more knowledge of masculinity is gaining more knowledge about God. That's really it. Like, I've tried the academic papers and shit like that. the only way I can see how to be more of a man is by knowing more about God. So, you know that God is eternal, right? He was there before time and shit like that. No beginning, no end, right? That is the same thing with the present moment. The present moment has no beginning and no end. And so, therefore, if you can live in the present moment, you are being where God resides. God resides in the present moment, in the eternal now. The now is eternal. And so when you are in the present moment, you are tapping into your like godly power, godly intellect. I'm not kidding. Like from my own personal experience, I've always like if you ever entered the flow state in like a sport or like in your task. When I was writing this paper, literally when I was writing this thing on my laptop, 2 hours passed by. I didn't even realize it, and it was one of the greatest like pieces of knowledge that I've written out. Okay, it's being in the present moment. It gives you God-given intellect. In the way the superior man, there's a quote that says, "Presence is a man's most valuable asset." Because the reason why is because you are able to tap into your God-given intellect. Because God resides in the present moment. He's not in the future, he's not in the past, he's in the eternal now. Okay? So when you're in the future, right? When you're in the future, you get anxiety, right? You give way to anxiety, you give way to worry, you give way to procrastination. You don't want that, do you? Nobody wants that shit. When you live in the past, like, should I even write this down? You give way to shame, guilt. Why am I writing it upwards? Shame, guilt, regret. Okay? We don't want that. We do not want that. Okay, let me erase that shit. We do not want to give into that. We want to be here and now. When you're here and now in the present moment, you become consciousness. You're aware of everything. You're able to get rid of your mind's deceptions. Your mind will play like all those negative emotions like anxiety, worry, regret. Those are all like projections of the mind, right? Yes, your mind trying to deceive you, the devil trying to like influence you. It's all just a play of the mind. If you were to be in the present moment right here, right now, where your feet are, it is where God resides. And so therefore, you become like just powerful. Okay? As a man, like you want to be powerful. You want to be powerful as a man. So by being in the present moment, you become super powerful. Okay? So I hope you guys got that. Okay. Number 6. Do the work. Yeah, you guys saw this coming because I've been saying it on like every single principle because this is a very important principle. You must be doing the work. It is currently 10:23 right now, 23 minutes past my bedtime. But we're doing this because we need to, right? We're men. We must be doing the work. Our lives revolve around the work. In order to make progress towards your purpose, you need to putting in the work. Hard work is what makes a man. Like if you ever seen, if there's one thing that garners respect from people, it is doing the hard work, right? If you see a fat person, but he's hitting the gym hard, that's respectable. If you see a dumbass kid, but he's studying as hard as he can, that is respectable. Like I don't care if they're the smartest or the dumbest or the fattest if they're putting in the work, I can't help but respect them because doing the work is such a masculine trait. It's such a masculine trait. You got to be doing the work despite your emotions, right? Despite how you feel, despite the outside circumstances saying that you shouldn't be doing this. Like there is no such thing as retirement as a man. Retirement is accepting that you are not going to live towards your purpose. By not doing the work, you are by definition not pursuing your purpose. Because to make progress towards your purpose, you need to be putting in some work. Progression requires work. Okay? There's no thinking, no consuming. Everything, in order to make progress towards your purpose, you need to be putting in the work. To create something, it takes work. Okay? You cannot be listening to your emotions. You cannot be listening to other people's opinions. You cannot be letting the power go into outside circumstances, dictating that you shouldn't be doing the work. Again, you are the one making the decision. You got to decide to do the work. Make the decision and do the work. Okay? That is the way of the man. Okay? It really is very, very important. Like everything in your life, to solve the problems, you must be putting in the work. Okay? To fix your relationship, you must be doing the work. To be able to attract people, right? You must be putting in the work. Like all of this requires work. Like to stay in the present moment. Right? When your brain strays away, you got to bring it back, and that takes work. Okay? Do not stop putting in the work. As a man, your life revolves around the work that you do. Okay? So, you must be doing the work. 7. Oh, we're just talking about this. Stop listening to, guess what? You guessed it right. Stop listening to your emotions. Like, emotions are a woman's domain. As a man, you must be doing the work, okay? Emotions don't serve you, right? You got to be the one that decides whether this emotion will either help you or steer you away from your God-given purpose, okay? So let me explain. I'm not actually saying that you should suppress your emotions and not feel happy, not feel sad, and any of that shit. What I'm saying is that you don't let your emotions make the decision for you, right? You got to be the one deciding what to do, right? So, for example, if you're happy, like this is what I put. If you're happy right now, you should not let that dictate your actions, because a lot of people, when they're happy and they're in this like happy state, it drives them to complacency, right? They start being happy and they start not doing the work. And it leads to complacency. If that happens, that is your fault, okay? If you're sad or depressed and you start like lashing out, you start, not doing the work, you start getting mad at people, you start just staying indoors, jacking off, that is your fault. You decided to do that, okay? You cannot be listening to your emotions. Your emotions should help you. No. Let me take that back. You gotta be the one deciding, right? So by all means, it's okay to be happy, right? As long as you make the decision to do the work and actually help it, make it aligned to your purpose. You know what I mean? Okay, wait. My camera's gonna die. I'm gonna reset the little I'm gonna put a new battery on it. Okay, we're back. So we're talking about emotions, right? So let me get my little marker here. Stop listening to your emotions. The thing is with emotions, I was saying how you should not let it steer you away from your God-given purpose. Okay, that's the main thing. Like, you can feel your emotions, but you're the one deciding what to do with them. Okay. So do not let it steer you away from your God-given purpose. If happiness causes complacency, that is your fault. If sadness and all of that shit causes you to lash out and get mad at people, that is your fault. You got to take responsibility for that. As a man, the only thing you must be doing is the work, despite how you feel. Okay? Work progresses you towards your purpose. So, again, do not be giving in to your purpose. I truly believe like emotions were made to sway you away from your purpose. Like, there's times when I did like feel happy, but that caused me just to like play video games more. That caused me, like, that good feeling from food. And by all means, there's a time and a place where being happy actually um, like levels up the mood and like everyone around you. And I would say that's when it aligns to your purpose. Okay, so a lot of the times, 99% of the times, negative emotions do not align to your purpose, and a good amount of the time, positive emotions they do like it doesn't like steer you away from your purpose, but it can. Okay, so just think about that. Just think about that. Have in the back of your mind, like, is this actually helping me? Like, will getting mad actually help me progress further or not? Will like, just having a good time right now actually help me progress further in my God-given purpose? Or am I just wasting time? Okay, that's the way I like to think about this stuff. Okay, so number 8, embrace. Embrace me. Oh wait, I spelled embrace wrong. Embrace. Embrace your edge. What is the edge? So your edge is the area of growth, right? So it's like it's the area of growth. You have to be near your edge in order to grow. Inside your edge, away from your edge is comfort, right? It's the little like area of not doing anything, not doing shit. But like over the edge is fear, right? And so you don't want to be inside your edge, right? You don't want to be in this comfort zone. Like we'll call this the edge, right? This is your edge. You're not edging, but this is your edge. You want to be like pushing against it, making love with it. That's how close you want to be, okay? Inside it is comfort. Outside it is fear. When you stay in the area of comfort, you already know, like, you do not grow at all. You do not pursue your purpose, your God-given purpose, because you're not doing the work. You're just comfortable. You're probably listening to your emotions and having a good time, but not making any progress because you're not doing any work. Okay? So you don't want to be in this area because there's no growth happening here. But you also do not want to be jumping over the edge and into the abyss, because in the abyss, there's fear, right? There's a high level of fear, and it's caused you a lot of distraught, a lot of turmoil. And you just won't make any progress because you won't make any progress when you're just in the state of fear. Because again, one, you're not in the present moment. You're like overthinking, overanalyzing, and all of that shit. But two, it's just not your time, right? This edge is your area of growth, your optimal growth. Okay, you cannot you will not make progress towards your purpose if you just go gung ho without any plan or any like actual, how to say this. You just won't make progress. Okay, if you just jump in, guns blazing. Okay, you gotta be in this little optimal point where at your edge. Okay, you're kind of in your comfortable zone, but you're kind of close to fear. Okay, I don't know how else to say this. It's like basically you're facing fear. You're facing fear at this edge, but you're not just jumping in and letting it eat you. If you let it eat you, you're gonna die. Okay, so that's basically my metaphor for you guys. So basically, embrace your edge. Do not fake it. Do not say that. Okay, this is actually my edge right here. No, you're still in comfort zone. Do not say this is my edge right here. If you jump over there, you're gonna die. Okay, that's the way I like to say it. If you jump over there, you will die. You will not be pursuing a God-given purpose. Therefore, you suck. So that was my little drawing example. I'm not that good at it yet, drawing shit, but in the future, you know what I mean? Practice makes better. Okay, so number 9, remain unchanged. Remain unchanged. Remain unchanged from outside influences. What does that mean? This means, like I remember a little saying from other people. They're saying that masculinity is, unchanging. Femininity is changed. They're like the emotions, like the waves, right? The waves are, always ups and downs, twists and turns and shit like that. But masculinity is a rock, the immovable rock. That's a little metaphor that people use. But what does that mean? And then how can Elijah explain it? The way I see it is that you must remain unchanged to everything that life throws at you. Because the only thing you should be doing is working towards your purpose. I'm always going to put it towards that. You remain unchanged, meaning that you are constantly, always striving to fulfill your God-given purpose. Okay? You do not change your desires because of what Steve said, because Steve said he wants a Lamborghini. You should not change your desires because of that. Outside influences will try to steer you off your God-given path. Okay? That means people, that means society, that means hell, fucking even me, right? Outside influences. Remember, like what we said, knowledge is very destructive because you're consuming things from the outside. Like, if we're being honest, the only information you're gonna need is your God-given intellect. You gotta be here in the present moment, striving to work towards the problems that you currently have in your life, because the problems were given to you by God Himself, and so you must solve them for growth. Okay, so don't listen to the outside influences. There's gonna be voices, trying to deceive you, saying that this is what you want. You're going to want the 10K in the bank account. You're going to want the girl with the lip fillers and all of that shit with this big booty ass. You feel me? You're gonna want casual sex and all of that. No, do not listen to those voices. Cut them out. Okay? Do not listen to the demons trying to take you down. They're trying to taunt you with all of this stuff like, oh, you're not doing what everybody else is doing. You should conform to society. You should do what everybody else is doing. Follow the herd. Like, no. You have one singular thing that you are chasing, which is your God-given purpose. And you are only aligning everything to that. You are not changing your direction. You are always trying to achieve your God-given purpose. The only time you change is for your God-given purpose. Okay? So what I mean by that is, that you're changing what you're doing to create greater results, to create greater progress towards your God-given purpose. So if you obtain new information saying that, you know what, maybe I'm not supposed to create let's say, for example, maybe I'm not supposed to make Instagram reels to give my my gifts to you guys. Maybe I should make YouTube videos now, because I think YouTube videos will actually help me give my gifts in a much better format. You know what I mean? That's you changing for the better, okay? So that you can achieve your God-given purpose. So, okay? So, the only reason why you would change, okay, is to progress, create greater progress towards your purpose, and never change back. Never change back. This means that, if you actually made greater progress by changing, you do not go back to the bad habits, right? You do not go back to the lower version of yourself. Like, if you changed your habit of jacking off, right? And you stop jacking off, do not change back to that person. You killed that person already. You're constantly creating a newer version of yourself. Okay? Do not change back. Okay? So, that's number 9. You remain unchanged from outside influences. You only change to create greater progress towards your purpose. You don't change back to the worst version of yourself. And the last one, guys, is give Give your gifts fully. Okay, this is the last one. So as I said about your gifts, about like giving. No, okay, you know what? I'll just fucking say it again. You gotta understand that God did not take anything from us, right? He did not take in anything. He actually put out into the world. He gave us everything that we see around us, from the way we look to everything around us. So again, like creation, giving is a divine action. You want to be in the state of giving. Like creation, giving, you want to be giving your gifts to the world. Because you got to understand that you have something that nobody else has, because God has made you in a very unique way. There's that little freaking, what's that called? Positivity type shit. Oh, you're unique and shit and all that. There's some truth to it, right? But again, you got to be doing the work. You have a God-given purpose that's only unique to you. That's the way I see it. And by fulfilling and by following your God-given purpose, you're doing the work, and that work gives to the world, right? You're gonna constantly be how do I say this? Radiating a godly aura. And okay, so do not be selfish with your gifts. That means, like, if you can basically, like, let's put this in more logistical terms. Basically, if you can help somebody out, right, but you hold back, you're being a little bitch, okay? Help somebody out fully. You know, give your gifts fully. Like, if you have something that, if you can actually provide assistance to another person, if you can actually provide impact to another person's life. Like, for example, if I can record a video for you guys, I'm going to try to give my 100%. I'm going to try and give my gifts fully to you guys. I'm not gonna be like, okay guys, we got 10 principles of masculinity. I'm only gonna give you 1. If you guys want to hit the next 9, you got hit the like button, pay me $50 and subscribe to my OnlyFans. You know what I mean? That's fucking weird, right? No, give your gifts fully. There's a saying is, the one who gives generously gains even more. And I found that true for a lot of things. Like, if we're talking just like logically, when I give like generously, it makes the other person's day, for one, but it also makes, like, I build trust with another person. I build relationships with another person. I learn more on how to give better. Like, my senior quote is, whatever you do it 100%. Okay? You do not want to be holding back. Do not hold back. Do not hold back. As a man, you are giving fully. Okay? So, yeah, I don't want to make this video. Oh, it's already too long, pretty long. Okay? So, these are my 10 principles of masculinity. Okay? Follow these principles. I could recap them. You know what? I'll recap them because it's already a long ass video. Be the one making the decisions. This means that you're the one deciding. That's what it means. You're the one deciding, and therefore you should not let anybody else decide for you. Do not give, because the one who decides holds the power. So you got to be the one in making the decisions in your life, making the decisions for everything in your life. Align 100% of your life to your purpose, your God-given purpose, because that is your biggest priority. When you do that, you actually live a fulfilling life. When you don't do that, you are not reaching your fullest potential, because, you know, God made you to, and He has a plan and all of that shit. And so, therefore, you will not be reaching your fullest potential. Okay? So, number 3, enter a state of creation. Creation is a divine action, right? So if you're constantly consuming, you're being a little bitch, right? Consumption, like eating from the tree of knowledge, just over consuming, will cause you great harm. Okay? So you have to be in a state of creation. Creation is a divine action. Okay? Don't chase, attract. The only thing you should be chasing is your purpose. Do not chase looks, do not chase status, do not chase money. You attract those things by being the man that God has made you to be. quote unquote, you'll stand out like a sore thumb because you're actually living a purposeful life, you know? And therefore, all of those things will come to you because you're leading all of those to the Lord. Okay? Live in the present moment. This means you got to be here and now because here and now is the eternal. That means that everything else, not everything else, that means that God resides here and now. And therefore, if you're here and now, you gain God-given power. Do the work. You got to be constantly doing the work. Okay? Man's purpose is achieved through work. So always be doing the work. No such thing as retirement. Stop listening to your emotions. Good, bad, happy, sad. Like, you're the one that makes the decision on whether that will affect your game plan, whether that affects your God-given purpose. Okay? Do not let happiness cause complacency. Do not let sadness cause you to, lash out at people. Right? Align everything to your purpose. Make the decision and do the work. Embrace your edge. Don't be in your comfort zone. Don't be in your, all the way in, let fear eat you up. You got to be at the edge. Edge is the area of growth. Okay? You want to be able to embrace it. Be in kissing distance of it and smooch it every single day. Okay? And that takes work. You got to decide, you got to accept, you know what? It's kind of scary looking over this edge because fear is on the other side and I could just retreat back to comfort. But you got to make love with this. You got to have that little, don't say push because you don't want to die, but you got to feel that every single day, okay? Because that's you growing, okay? Remain unchanged from outside influences. The only thing that changes you is the only reason why you should change is because you're trying to achieve your God-given purpose much better. Okay? Do not let people put on desires for you, put on their own goals onto you, right? You don't need to give in to their expectations of you. Okay? Do not change because of them. Change because you want to achieve your God-given purpose. And number 10, give your gifts fully. Always, 100%. Whatever you do, do it 100% because your gifts are needed to provide an impact into another person's life and to impact the world for the better. Okay, so that was my little recap, okay? I know that's a long-ass video. It's probably my longest video yet, okay? But actionable steps, follow these principles. That's it. If you follow these principles, I guarantee you, will become more masculine man. And this is the principles I'm living by right now. So I feel in my bones that I know we don't need to listen to our emotions, but it aligns to my purpose. So I feel like this will make us into masculine individuals. So if you guys did enjoy, hit the like button. Okay, now, if you guys have any questions, put it in the comments down below, okay? Let me know what you guys think about this format, especially because it's a longer video. So I'll see you guys later. Deuces.